Hello, everyone. In my atomic talk, I'm going to talk about something called performance anti-patterns. Let's start with a simple problem statement. Let's say there is an application which has passed the performance test phase and being released to the production. Thus, it is handling the real workloads now and starts performing poor, throwing exceptions, rejecting the user requests, application hangs, stalls, etc. The team is now in pressure to questions like, was the application tested well? Or what we can do to quickly fix it? Well, we can avoid these situations to an extent when we consider the performance anti-patterns and then design the tests to support that. Actually, there are various reasons for this particular issue, but using the thought of performance anti-pattern, we can solve the most of them beforehand. Let's quickly see what's performance anti-pattern and how it can be applied to solve the similar problem statements. Performance anti-pattern shows us what not to do or what solutions are likely to cause performance problems. These practices or these common practices that are likely to cause scalability or stability problems when an application is under pressure. This is contrary to the performance patterns, which shows us ways to achieve good performance. Once the problem is identified, the anti-patterns also shows us how to fix or refactor it as well. Let's look at the closer side of it via next slides. I'm going to talk about few common items which contribute to the performance anti-patterns, and these usually happens through the course of a project. I would say any project. The first important anti-pattern is fixing performance issues at the end of the project. Often we fall prey to the fact that once we have all the features ready for release, we can start with the performance testing. But this leads to major blockers for the release due to load or longevity failures at the end. Ideally, separate SLA for each feature in terms of performance needs to be derived and tested as we build it. This helps identifying issues early on the feature in terms of load handling or longevity, and it also gives confidence to the team when overall performance tests are done at later stage of time. Left shift on the performance thing is what I'm talking about. The second important performance anti-pattern is premature optimization. Optimizations on the performance ground should be considered only when the related boundaries for the features and interoperability with other features is known well. Else, starting the performance optimizations for one without know-how of the dependent feature leads to rework and time waste. So what we can do to stay away from it? Simple design is easier to optimize. Measure the performance at each milestone so that we have benchmarks. We can optimize worst points first. This helps to reduce the cost of fix later. We should also mind to 80-20 rule, where start testing small and early. Team should spend 20% of their efforts and get the 80% of knowledge needed to get started. The last one is focusing on what you see rather than on a problem statement. Many a times, at least in my experience, the problem of the symptoms of the problem or this problem itself has less to do with the exact issue observed or reported. What needs to be done here is tactically understand the system well, observe the patterns as well as anti-patterns. We should work really to fix it, not to only cure the symptoms. Moving ahead. Common performance anti-patterns. I have tried to list down few performance anti-patterns which are common while developing the software. It's the tester's job to validate these patterns to make sure that we are not moving to similar kinds of problem statements which we have seen earlier. The list can be infinite, but to me, few of the items which I've captured are using of excessive number of threads. Once we become familiar with threads, one of the common mistakes is deciding to use this thread or the process per connection. And this is how we utilize more resources. Busy database. Offloading too much processing to a data store makes database busy and may lead to bottlenecks. Too many IOs. Continually sending many small network requests contributes to heavy IO. No caching. Failing to cache the data, which results into low response times. Synchronous IOs. Blocking the calling thread while IO completes is a bad practice and often leads to performance issues. Monolithic persistence. Using the same data store for data with every different usage patterns. Busy frontend. Moving resource-intensive tasks into background threads often leads to slowness in the system, and that's how it counts to the bad performance. All these are the major anti-patterns of a problem which we have seen earlier. Probably the team didn't invest time in thinking of these anti-patterns, which results in the issue at the production. Now concluding, there are two important aspects which I feel. Anti-patterns are not limited to performance aspects only. These can be looked from a perspective of whole testing as well. And the more vigilant we are on what not to do, we can minimize the issues via developing our thoughts for performance anti-patterns. Now, I hope this small talk on performance anti-patterns might have helped you visualize the anti-patterns for the next time in your tests. Thank you for watching my video, and you can write to me for more details at the email address provided. Thank you.